Hey guys, great to see everybody.
I guess what's been the focus for Ethan's season after the year, after his off season after the season that he had? Excuse me.
Yeah, we're doing the same type of stuff we've done since the day we got him. We're just continuing to try to grow every day, incremental improvement. That's really what it's about. He's done a great job of being intentional every day, and giving himself an opportunity for maximum growth every day. He's working really hard at trying to have a continually better understanding of our pass game, better understanding of defenses. But honestly, guys, it's something he's going to be doing every year. If he's fortunate enough to go on and play on Sundays, just like every quarterback, every year is striving to continue to get better fundamentally, then get better with their knowledge.
New running back now with Kyle gone, more depth in the tight end room, different wide receivers. What evolution, if any, do you anticipate from this offense just as far as what you're able to call and just what it'll look like? Or will it be similar to last year?
Yeah, that's something that I try to do every spring. When the spring's over, we're trying to teach an offense and get better at these basic fundamentals. And after every spring, when I go back, I watch the spring cut-ups. I'm not necessarily trying to evaluate the players on each little skill on each play. I'm just trying to get a better feel for what do they do well. These are the guys. You have a better feel for who your guys are going to be and what do they do well. A really good example was last year in training camp, we really noticed that Daimir was really good at outside breaking routes and then these short crosses. He just had a really natural ability with him. So we look at, as training camp was winding down, we started to look at more ways to use him in those type of patterns with it. So I think your offense is always evolving, and it's evolving around your personnel. My philosophies are never going to change, but the offense will evolve.
At your introductory press conference 3 years ago, you said you rebuild offenses. That's what you do. Where is this offense in that rebuilding process now as you head into a third full offseason?
Yeah, I try not to think in those terms. More of a process-driven guy. I try to think in the terms of we'll be better next year. And we're going to be better by just incremental improvement every day of continuing to be intentional, and it's really a team effort, right? We've got the strength staff, we've got sports performance, we've got the nutritionists, and then we have our position coaches. We have a wonderful group of position coaches, working with the guys, and we have a wonderful culture where, these guys work, and so that I never, even when I meet with recruits, I never tell them like, hey, we're going to do this or that. I just say we'll be better, and as we continue to bring in, as our recruiting continues to go well, continue to fill the pipeline and develop these guys, I fully expect us. I'll be disappointed if we're not better, but to quantify it, I think that's hard.
Holland, who's kind of a guy you can depend on at left tackle. What's the competition looking like there? How many guys do you think will be fighting for that job? And do you have a hope of having that solidified by spring camp? Is that a position you guys could go into the portal for? Just what's the current standing at left tackle?
Yes. Okay. I think right now, today, yesterday and today, in our first two practices, Ty Needham lined up at left tackle. I think Coach Flatz has done a great job with him. I think he's really developing. He looks better, but it's early, and I'm not. I think when spring's over, Coach does a great job of. He's the head coach and the general manager, and he does a great job of assessing our personnel and deciding what do we need to look for to help us get better. Where are our holes with it? I'm excited about some of the young linemen, especially some of these guys that are entering their third year in the program that really haven't played very much for us. It's time for them to take a big jump. They're going to get plenty of reps, so I don't know exactly how the depth chart is going to play out. I just know we're going to put the best 11 guys on the field, come whatever the date is of the first game.
Just wanted to ask you about the backup quarterbacks, Johnny and AJ specifically. I guess what have you seen from their growth and kind of where they are in their development right now?
Yeah, they're much better in the classroom. I think both of them are, when you talk about like what they do well, both of them are really high intelligence, high football intelligence. With it, so it's fun to be in the classroom with them. I think they're both still learning how to apply all this knowledge that they're capable of storing in their head. But it's early. I'm excited to work with both of them. I think they both have a lot of potential, and excited about where they can go in the future. But I think that's a battle that, it'll shake itself out as they continue to get more reps, and they'll decide who wins it.
Last couple of years, it was a younger offense, younger group of guys. Now you've got a more seasoned group. How does that change things and how you get to attack and I guess maybe continue this progression of this offense with more seniors?
Yeah, I do think that, whatever it is, like your third year somewhere, they have a much better understanding of the basic fundamental things that you're trying to do within your scheme. And so that does give you a possible opportunity to branch out and maybe do some more different things than maybe you might have done, and add things. Because I have really strong philosophical beliefs, and one of them is you have to do A before you can do B, and so the guys will, they'll show me that they're ready for more based on how they're performing with what we're asking them to do, and I think I've been doing it long enough that, I can tell when they're ready for something else. They can do more. They can handle more. The game still, comes down to execution, and it's how well you can do those fundamentals and details, I believe, that really matters, with it. But I'm definitely thinking about things, and I always have a list. We have a list, the offensive staff. We always talk about things after the season. What are some things that hurt us? What are some things that we could do to counteract that? How can we grow the system, with it as football is continuing, defensive football continues to evolve just like offensive football. And so we do have a list of things that we think could complement us better if we're there. But again, the players will show me that they're ready to kind of expand on that. We have an interesting dilemma. We could end up with an interesting dilemma where, we end up having an abundance of wideouts that can make plays, and instead of being injuries forcing us to use 10 personnel, maybe we're going to do some 10 personnel. Again, that's all stuff that we'll figure out in training camp, but it's things that we'll look at after spring ball. We'll look at what we've done. We'll look at our body of work and everybody's body of work and start to think about that. But I won't even make a decision on that until somewhere around halfway through training camp.
You mentioned Dimir before. A guy who came in 1 year, made a big impact in the wide receiver room. Do you anticipate DT Sheffield to make a similar impact? And is he a similar kind of wide receiver, or is his skill set different than Dimir's?
I do see him having an impact on the offense. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't. He certainly has a skill set that we think we wouldn't have brought him here if we didn't think he could, with it. I think he is a little different player than Dimir. I'm pretty convinced of that. I was convinced of that before we had 2 practices. Now we've had 2 practices, and I'm not going to say definitely yet, but I feel like my hunch is right. And he has skills, and I think one of our jobs as coaches, one of the most important things we can do is figure out sooner rather than later what are the best things that he does, and let's make sure that we're highlighting them. And then what are the things within our core system that we're going to do that maybe he's not great at because he really has never done it. So how do we get him enough reps at those things? But I do feel like I'm really been impressed with the maturity of DT, of CJ, and of Colin. They really are. I love their approach to the game. You can see they love the game. You can see they want to get better, and you can see that they're going to be really good teammates. So I'm really happy with the choices that we made with those 3 guys. And now we just got to get them up to speed and hope that they're as good of players as we thought they were going to be.
Kind of bouncing off of that in terms of Colin, I guess, how would you describe his skill set and kind of what he can bring to your offense?
Yeah, again, I'm still I'm one of those guys that like action, right? I want to see it, but I can tell you what I saw in his film that I thought he could be a good fit. He's very natural in the pass game. He had the size and the willingness to be to block. But I did feel like that was an area that he could improve in. As long as he was willing, and we knew that he was. When we have him, but he's just a good player. I think when you watch his film, you can see that the game comes naturally to him. He moves very fluidly in space. So we're excited about him.
Adding John McNulty to the staff, with that level of experience, what does he bring to that position and that position group?
Yeah, I think I smile. I was John's receivers coach here at one time. So it's really when you can work with really good friends that you have a real connection with as people, and they're great football coaches. That's I don't know what to put the price on that. The trust that you have in somebody when he's meeting with the players. The impact he's going to have on the young men. I feel really lucky that when we lost Coach Perry. I feel really lucky that we were able to replace him with someone like John McNulty, the type of football coach he is, the type of teacher that he is, and it's cool for me. It's great to be around him every day, and it's great to watch him have an impact on the young men. It's neat when I walk by his office and I see 2 or 3 of the young receivers in there, and he's giving them knowledge. It just kind of makes me smile walking down the hall.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Great to see you. Good to see you guys.